Hello, Kyle.
I had an opening joke and I've completely forgotten it.
Then why are we doing this? The whole show was built around this joke.
I know, and I've failed.
There's no point us being here. This is the last episode I'm ever showing up for. Goodbye.
So we have like a million bajillion announcements to talk about, though.
A couple of things have happened, Kyle. Disney done a thing. The Game Awards done a thing. And Ubisoft didn't do a thing.
Oh, damn. You want to start with that then?
I want to start with that. I want this episode to feature Kyle heavy in the front half.
I mean, I made a video. You can go watch it. You did watch it.
I watched the video, Kyle, but I have queries.
Oh, boy. Okay, well, I guess we should explain what the hell we're talking about.
Go ahead.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out, the newest entry, the 13th? 12th or 13th mainline entry in the Assassin's Creed series. And your old boy Kyle didn't like it very much. Doesn't like it, I guess, because I haven't finished it yet.
Kyle is the only person on the planet Earth who doesn't like it out of those who have played it.
That's not true. I referenced an article that agreed with me in my video. So there you go.
I should note, ladies and gentlemen, I have not I have not played the game. I've watched and listened to Kyle's video a couple of times, actually. I would say that your video does put across a more or less airtight argument for somebody who hasn't played it to experience any of it.
Okay.
Like, when I watch it, I'm taking you at face value, saying, well, that I can, based on everything you're presenting to me, that sounds absolutely hideous and awful, and we don't like this game. This is a poor game. And also, Vikings don't really appeal to me much anyway, so I've already got that leaning in your favour.
Okay. I expected you to continue more with that.
That was the sentence. No, I was going to hope for you to respond with something, Kyle. Jesus. So, my question is the first question I was going to ask is, have you played any more of the game? But I'm assuming you haven't.
No, I haven't, actually. After I made that video, Immortal Phoenix Rising came out, and I've been enjoying that quite a lot.
So you stand by every word in the video?
Yes.
There's something this is more of a broader topic, and it plays into I think it's, you have a problem with when games kind of glorify villain behaviour. I was going to try and say something like vilific, but I don't know if that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
You have a problem with it in multiple games, whether it be a Star Wars game or now Assassin's Creed, where they try and absolve the sinner and, make the antagonists seem even worse, even though the protagonists aren't any better. But somehow it's okay for them to be villains, even if the game doesn't paint it like it is
cut and dry. Because I was thinking about this, and you mentioned Star Wars, and I was thinking recently played Star Wars Squadrons, which is it's a fun little game. I don't have strong opinions about it, but it was heavily marketed on having a villain story half to it. And I was thinking about it.
Which it does.
And nothing in that story, I mentioned it when the trailer came out for the CGI trailer that they released.
Yes.
And when I was actually playing the game, I was thinking, okay, I'm not really having much of an issue with this as I thought I would. Which is weird, because that's a game which gives you a bonus medal for blowing up all of the civilians.
Well, that's the reason I bring that. I kind of wanted to pivot in this direction, is that you mentioned recently, whenever the last time we properly spoke, was that the game kind of glorifies and encourages you to shoot down refugees.
Yes.
And doesn't paint it like it's a problem. What you're saying there I don't think is wrong. I think it does encourage you to shoot out space refugees and doesn't paint it as a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I also am not sure if that in itself is a problem. You're playing as the villain, and it's fun to play as the villain. Yeah, do awful things. Like shoot a bunch of civilians in the airport, for example, or run over civilians in Los Santos.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my point, is that I happen to not think that it's a big deal. That
I think
I'm
what
under the
matters,
impression that you think that it is.
not necessarily. I think what matters is context. It's a nasty word these days, I know. But I'm going to stick with Squadrons because I have done some thinking. I was writing a script about it, and then I just kind of gave up because it wasn't working for me.
Oh, you can use your script in here then, Kyle. Bring it.
But essentially, I do like Star Wars Squadrons does actually have some interesting things to say about like basically how a fascist regime falls. Like the scene that I remember is you're off to save this random Star Destroyer captain who's very obviously voiced by Admiral Yularen.
Yes. Yes. Also the intro narrator to the
Clone Wars. And he's very confident, overconfident in his abilities. Like, these rebels don't stand a chance against us.
And he's in like a full big Star Destroyer. Yeah.
And because he's too cocky and too overconfident, he just loses and he doesn't understand. Like, even when he's going down, he's like, this doesn't make any sense. We're the Empire.
Yeah, his mind can't compute that they never won.
Yeah, and so I think that was an interesting sort of, like, that's the whole game is kind of, the Empire is just kind of falling apart without any kind of strong leadership because all these guys are just kind of self-confident assholes who just were confident on the fear of power and not actually how to use it. Which is like,
sure.
It's an interesting, I'm not explaining this super well, but that's an interesting concept they were exploring there.
Because I've played the game, I get where you're coming from.
So, I mean, the one weird thing was, and people have mentioned this before, is how diverse the Empire is in Star Wars Squadrons.
They're all still human, though.
They're all still human, but...
I never got the Empire being racist as much as it was xenophobic.
Yes, I mean, there's this weird clash of in-world universe stuff and the real-world stuff, where there's some things there where... How do I express this?
Maybe it's the argument that racism is relative and so is white supremacy, where what is considered white or what is considered human will vary over time. Maybe if the Empire existed on planet Earth, totally fictional, never would happen, of course, maybe only the white Imperials would be seen as proper Imperials, but then when you go into space and, Rhodians are so much different, maybe Asians and black people aren't that different after all.
I mean, you're right. That's how racism works. Basically, is whoever the outgroup is expands. Like, you go back 100 years, and Irish people weren't considered white, for example.
Yes, that was the exact example I was actually thinking of.
So there is that, but I don't know. There's just something feels weird about it, but that's by the by. Anyway, back to Valhalla, which I think it's the opposite of saying anything about it. It presents all this stuff completely uncritically, and for people who haven't watched my video, my argument was basically that it's a propaganda piece for colonialism, completely uncritically.
Which would seem like such a strange thing for a studio from an ex-colony to do.
You would think. You're right. They're a Canadian studio. They're based in Quebec.
Yes, They are French-Canadian.
Mm-hmm. Double colonialised. Well, like, to be fair, they're the colonizers. If it was a Native American studio, this would be very different.
Well, yes.
But
maybe that's why they're all for it. They're like, this studio was built upon empire. It will stand to support it.
I mean, my honest... Like, I always say, whenever I do a reading like this, I don't think it was intentional. Which I feel like I don't have to stress, but I do it anyway, because there's always going to be people who say it's not intentional, but death of the author, goddammit. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, indeed. I do think author's intent should stand for something. Like, what did they mean? I think that's I think it's very important, and I think if they were to address the issues that you've raised, I would love to hear what they have to say about it. And obviously they're not going to admit their work's a heap of shit. Obviously they won't do that. They're too financially invested in it, and they've got jobs on the line and stuff to admit such a thing. And the backlash isn't that great, so it's not like they have any massive, overwhelming social pressure to admit it either. But I would love to hear what their response would be.
Anyway, I'll lay out my argument again. I like my video, I think you should watch it, but you play as the Vikings and the invasions of England in it's the 9th century, 8th century, that kind of era.
The Viking times.
Yeah, Viking times. And the argument presented by the game is that this is unequivocally good, and all the Saxons are bad and evil, and except the ones who work with you, whose lives is just much better for working with the Vikings, so all of the Saxons should just give up and let you take over their land. And the game presents all of this completely without any kind of criticism or satire or anything. It's just completely straight.
It's just, this is the way of the world.
Yeah, and
the Anglo-Saxons are bad. You will come and take their homeland and make your culture the culture.
Yeah, and it's not, and also, like, the Vikings are physically bigger and stronger. Like, literally in game, your character towers over any of the Saxons.
I mean, I think from a storytelling perspective, you've always going to make the villain maybe a little bit weaselly and conniving, you know? Or you could do a Thanos route and have them big and muscly and overpowering, and you can be the underdog, but...
Okay, the Assassin's Creed series always kind of plays with the villains, or they're schemers. You know, the Templars, they work in the shadows, but they've never so... I would say they've never so explicitly done that. Like, I use Assassin's Creed 3 as a positive reference quite a lot in this video because it's...
You do. That was an anti-colonial...
Exactly. You play as a Native American fighting the British Empire. But, you know, Hatham, one of the best villains in all of Assassin's Creed, he's not, like, weak and conniving. He's also just a normal person.
He's a lad.
Well, he's got assassin skills and all that as well. But, I don't know, this one, it just feels really uncomfortable. And I've not played it since I made that video. I said in the video I will go back, and I guess I will eventually when I run out of other games to play. But, oh god. I'm not looking forward to it.
You're not looking forward to it. Which is something I bet you never thought you would say for an Assassin's Creed title.
It's not. It's really not. I mean, god, even Unity I still played to completion. And I don't like Unity.
And on a somewhat of a personal level, you probably find Revolutionary France a lot more compelling than Viking times.
Yeah, probably. But there is that. You know, I don't get to hang out with Napoleon in Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
True. I never got to the point of hanging out with Napoleon in Unity either. A game I never finished.
You never finish a game? That's shocking.
I know. It's absolutely inconceivable.
Whereas for me, it actually is shocking.
Yes, it is absolutely. I was looking at the Gamerscore leaderboards the other day, and every month, ladies and gentlemen, he's number one. Not by like, he earned 300 Gamerscore this month. That's pretty impressive. No, he's like, I earned 25,000 Gamerscore this month.
Okay, it's not that much. Okay, I'm at plus 3,000 right now, roughly.
Jeez, oh, literally everyone else on my friends list is maybe plus 250. I'm in plus 130 this month because I went on Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Series X and it decided to proc a bunch of achievements that must have been glitched for me for a few years.
Playing as villains. This is a topic I'm discussing it with myself in my head because I'm not on the position that video game violence leads to real life violence. I think that's silly and is obviously not true.
It is. We would all be in trouble if it was.
Like, GTA is a good example, because GTA is a game where it kind of encourages you just to go on killing rampages sometimes, just for fun.
Oh,
I don't know if
it
encourages it is the right word, but it certainly doesn't punish you for it. It's part of the game. It's just, like, crashing cars, running over civilians, shooting up the police.
Sometimes you just want to get 6 stars. And
yeah, I mean, the character Trevor in GTA 5 that's him. That's his whole character. Is just chaos.
Yes, he is the Joker. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
And I don't think that's a problem if you just want to fuck around. Because
when a story's being told, though, you want to know that you're telling a message, having a message.
I don't even know about that. I mean, storytelling doesn't have to... Well, I mean, storytelling always has to say something, but it never doesn't have to say something important. You know, like, some stories can just be very simple, like, don't steal, you know? It doesn't have to say anything about big deal political issues.
Not big ideas.
I don't know where I'm going with it. I need to think about this in my head more.
Well, Kyle, let me assume then that you are not a renegade when you play certain BioWare classics like Mass Effect.
Oh boy, speaking of Mass Effect, you want to hear Kyle complain even more? That's where you're going.
I did say I wanted the first half to be top heavy. That's where we're starting with games, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
what happened at the Game Awards?
At the Game Awards, I guess none of us really paid attention to the actual awards, did we? I know The Last of Us won a bunch.
Among Us got quite a few.
I will say I'm happy to see Among Us won a few awards. This tiny little indie game by 4 people. That's nice. It's uplifting.
I was hardly surprised, but it was nice.
Even though it's a game that came out in 2018, but we'll gloss over that.
No one played it.
I guess if it's still ongoing, it counts in their awards, because I know those other games that are quite old that were nominated. So, anyway, throughout the Game Awards, it really just became an announcement show, which I guess has always been that. It seemed like it was very announcement heavy. It's kind
of always been that. It's mainly a platform to push games.
Anyway, one of the last things they unveiled was a 2-minute teaser trailer from good old BioWare about a Mass Effect. And it's a bunch of shots of space, and then someone in a hood picks up a piece of an N7 helmet, and oh my god, it's Liara.
I found this to be the biggest troll ever. Not necessarily the trailer itself. Teaser trailers exist. They've always existed. They're always fun. But there was something about the title card that just broke me.
I was like, Mass Effect will continue.
Mass Effect will continue. And I was sitting there thinking, no shit. It's like, I don't care how bad Andromeda was in the eyes of most people. It wasn't going to sink a famous intellectual property when there's money to be made.
It's the most valuable thing BioWare owns.
There was no, like, Mass Effect's going to get no shit. It's like if they put at the end of a Star Wars film, Star Wars will continue. No way. You're having me on. Whoa. What a thing to think. This franchise will continue. No way. So I laughed and I laughed and it got a real kick out of me. I don't know why. Something snapped in my brain, and some friends that are big Mass Effect people were like over the moon, really, really happy about it. We had some discussions back and forth, and they didn't seem to get where I was coming from because of how happy they were that I found it so funny. They were like, why are you laughing? Why is this funny? Look at it! Read it!
Yeah, I mean, I think for some people, here's the thing. This trailer to me implies, and to most people is implying, that this is a sequel to Mass Effect 3, right?
Yes, that's the implication from that teaser.
And so, in that sense, I get the Mass Effect will continue. It's kind of like it's like Luke Skywalker catching the lightsaber in Rise of Skywalker. It's like a fuck you to the previous game. It's like Mass Effect Andromeda will continue. The real Mass Effect will continue.
Okay, fair.
And that's what most people were getting out of it. And as I've said before on this podcast, I'm one of the only people in the world who likes Mass Effect Andromeda. And so
I like what I played.
On the one hand, new Mass Effect. I like the world. I like the characters. I like Liara. Liara's back. Sure. Okay. On the other hand, Mass Effect 3, for people didn't like the ending, but it was an ending, a very definitive ending. And I am on team things should end.
You got 3 to choose from.
You got 3 to choose from, so I guess they're making one the real ending and the other 2 are fake news, I assume. Because those endings are they're pretty different, you know?
Either you do the, what was the villain of Mass Effect 1?
Saren.
Either you do the Saren ending of, synthesis and new level, you do the burn it all down Joker ending, or you, what was
Control, the Elusive Man's ending.
The Elusive Man's ending, yeah.
Where Shepard becomes the new mind of the Reapers.
The new child.
Yeah, or there's a secret 4th ending where you can just let the world burn and walk away.
Really?
Yeah. You can just say, no, I don't want to choose, and then the game just ends.
That is interesting. You just had an entire fleet of spaceships show up to a planet for a big fight and for nothing.
Yeah. And then it plays an ending screen of like the next cycle, and it's like an alien grandpa talking to his alien daughter about how they found Liara's device, because she makes a little device that will communicate to the next phase. And they're the ones who solved it.
I think I might have seen a YouTube video of that.
Yeah, it's...
Liara was only a member of your crew in Mass Effect 1, correct?
No, she comes back in 3 as well.
I thought she was she worked for the black market in the subsequent games.
She's an information broker in the 2nd game. And then in the Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC, she becomes the Shadow Broker. Yes,
But I thought that wasn't necessarily she was a member of your crew, and in ME3 she came back.
In ME3 she came back, and she has a room on the Normandy with a bunch of screens of all the different information.
Oh, okay. I really need to replay the Mass Effect trilogy.
Well, lucky for you, there's a remaster coming out.
Well, lucky for me, we're getting not gameplay not enhanced, but we're getting better frames and HD.
You know what? An excuse to play the trilogy again. I'm fine with it.
So as am I, because I think I might have played through Mass Effect 2 twice and Mass Effect 1 and 3 only once.
And it comes with all the DLC, which you probably haven't played.
I had the DLC for Mass Effect. What was the Leviathan one? Was that 2 or 3?
That was for 3.
So I had all the DLC for 3 except the party one, and then I didn't have anything.
The party one's the best one.
Everyone told me, but that was one I never had.
Anyway,
you believe in a definitive ending, and this doesn't seem like we're getting one.
Well, I just don't know what they can do with the story at this point. The conflict of Mass Effect, of the trilogy, is fighting the Reapers.
An ancient evil awakens.
And no matter what, the Reapers are gone now. What's the conflict now? You just gonna fight some Batarian pirates? I mean, come on.
Who were the baddies in Andromeda again?
The Ket.
The Ket. There'll be a new Ket.
No, there won't. They're not going to touch, and there's going to be one data entry on the Andromeda Initiative as a little Easter egg, and that's it.
I don't mean that we're going to have the Ket in the game. I mean, there's going to be some new species that's just fairly run-of-the-mill part of the galaxy. They're not extra-galactic like the Reapers.
That's dull and boring.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying that's what it'll be. I don't think we're going to be just patrolling the galaxy as another day in the fleet. I don't think this is going to be a Lower Decks sequel. I think this is going to be
It's just going to be Mass Effect 1 again. But it's just going to be the Force Awakens.
Didn't the Normandy crash land on a planet?
It did. In one of the endings. There's like a million endings to Mass Effect 3.
I should say this announcement is the source of my most successful tweet on Twitter.
It is. Somehow Shepard returned.
Somehow. Shepard returned.
And I completely forgot that, yes, at the start of Mass Effect 2, Shepard dies and comes back to life, so this is not unprecedented.
Yeah. But again, if you believe in definitive endings, and Mass Effect 3 was a nice, healthy conclusion to a trilogy. Though I seem to remember at the time people having big problems with Mass Effect 3's ending.
They did, but the solution to that is not a sequel, I don't think. whether you liked it or not, it wrapped up the story, unless they just completely go back on it, which I don't think they will, because you see in that trailer like a broken mass relay, and that's when I was like, it's Mass Effect. So
did we see
yeah, when the camera's going through all the spacey stuff, it flies past a broken mass relay.
I thought it was just a bunch of just a big bunch of space phenomena and rocks and stuff. I never actually saw the mass relay. I need to watch it again. But no, yeah, I found it to be I don't know.
I should say, yeah, neither of us really have a huge issue with Mass Effect 3's ending. I don't think.
No, I don't really care. I like Andromeda. I think Andromeda felt like quite a Star Trek-y game. Mm-hmm. It felt brighter in tone. I enjoyed Mass Effect Andromeda, what I played of it. I think I got about halfway through it. You know, I look forward to more Mass Effect, I guess. It's a nice world to be in.
Right.
But I've got no... maybe the start of this game, they'll be like, no. Maybe the maker of this game is going to be like Ryan Johnson or something. It's like, no.
If this is actually a backdoor sequel to Andromeda, that would be hilarious, because people would be so annoyed.
It's like, no, this is... No, you still got all the... Everyone comes back except Shepard. Shepard, just the only person that doesn't come back, and that's just it. So everyone else is back. You play as Liara. You know, it's the first time you don't play as a human.
That would be a choice. I reckon you have to play as a custom character at least. But
I play as your bog standard box art Shepard.
John Shepard. That's right, I'll explain. So I do get people's problems with Mass Effect Andromeda, besides the fact that it launched as a complete buggy mess, which is what most people remember it for.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, these days, really, let's talk about buggy messes.
People are bending over backwards to defend the you-know-what game.
Exactly. So, we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077, gentlemen and ladies and others.
Cyberpunk 2020, am I right?
Oh dear. Right. So, buggy mess launches, but Mass Effect Andromeda will forever be remembered as a buggy mess. Whatever. That's just a pet peeve of mine. Anyway, the game has other issues. It's very tedious, and that's coming from me. There's a whole bunch of tedious just stuff to do on the planets, and I get why people don't like that. And in a certain way, I think Mass Effect 1 has the same problem, but...
People forgive it.
Whatever, right? I liked Mass Effect Andromeda, and everyone remember, for the most part anyway, Mass Effect 2 is the one everyone likes, as far as I know.
Yeah.
That's the big famous one, you know.
No, I think these days 2 and 3 are kind of dogging it out, but both of them are still like, if one's the first, the other's the second, no one thinks the first is the best.
I actually do, but I know, right? I'm just Mr. Controversial.
Yeah, I know, you can't help but pick fights.
I mean, I'll say that Mass Effect 3, definitely, if you're looking for just a straight game, Mass Effect 3 is the best game. It has the most fluid combat, and I'm including Andromeda in that. I think Mass Effect 3 has the best combat.
Gameplay. I felt you felt like a Spartan 4 and Halo 5 or something in Andromeda.
Andromeda's menus and shit are awful.
Yeah, fine. I can't actually remember the UI, but I remember the gameplay. I remember playing as...
Yeah, the straight combat is fine, but the menus and the crafting and all this stuff is just a bloated mess. I get that. And again, Mass Effect 1 has the same issue, but I think Mass Effect 1 has the strongest, most concrete story of the trilogy.
Yeah, I enjoy Mass Effect 1's story. Something feels... I think Mass Effect, the first trilogy, was very well done in terms of scaling up with every installment without jumping the shark.
Yes.
Relative to the fact that it's a fantasy sci-fi. Like, Mass Effect 1, you have the end fight around the Citadel, and it's like a smallish fleet fighting one Reaper, and that's like, wow! And then by the time you get to Mass Effect 3 at the end, it's just...
Well, the opening of the game is like 16 Reapers just appearing in the city and just fucking shit up.
Fair, yeah, So I enjoy Mass Effect 1 for how well it seems to encapsulise, like, oh my god, how are they going to top this? You know, this game's pretty solid, though the gameplay is rotten.
It does such a good job of introducing the world of Mass Effect,
Yeah,
I think.
it does. It does. The story and the characters, fantastic. The world, filled with depth, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Gameplay, not so much. The gameplay really, 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 really is the only thing that makes
me not want to revisit it. You hide behind a wall and you hold the trigger down with a machine gun to kill everyone. That's how you play Mass Effect 1.
I just think that it handles really poorly. Some of the weapons aren't the best.
Which is why they should have remade it. But whatever.
Instead of remastered.
There's a new Mass Effect, and it's not going to come out for another 10 years anyway, but we're spending so long talking about it.
What if it really was called Mass Effect Will Continue? That's the game title. They actually forgot a little comma after Will, and it's conversation starter. It's like, Will, continue what you were saying. We're playing someone called Will.
I mean, behind the scenes, I think, this is just a feeling, but after Anthem and after Mass Effect Andromeda, I have a strong suspicion that BioWare is on thin ice right now with EA.
Do you think they're going to go through just one big crowd pleaser?
Well, they've got Dragon Age 4 coming out, and I think Dragon Age 4 is probably going to be pretty good. You haven't played the Dragon Age games? They're all on Game Pass now. You should give them a shot. But
we'll see.
Actually,
I had it recommended to me that I try maybe Fallout 76. It's not as in depth as the other Fallout games.
It's not.
You could maybe get into 76. They said it had been fixed quite a bit, but I mean, I'm still emming and awing about that. I don't know if I'll actually ever do it.
Yeah, I recommend Dragon Age. I recommend it to anyone listening. I don't think you specifically will get anything out of them.
Unless it's Firewatch, I ain't playing it.
Yeah, so that's why they're making another Mass Effect game, right? And not another Andromeda game, because another Andromeda game is a big risk.
Money.
But you know what? It's from a meta narrative, right? The first Andromeda game, it's about how the Andromeda Initiative got off to a rough start and all this. Mm-hmm. I thought, how perfect would that work as a meta narrative if the second game is when they get everything right, and it's, you know, it's when it truly begins the adventure.
Yes, what if this game is like some pseudo prequel sequel that jumps back in time between them making the Andromeda Initiative?
Well, there is one possibility that it's not a sequel, which is that 2 years when Shepard is dead. And in the comics, they explain that how they got Shepard's dead body is Liara found it, and where the Normandy crashed was a big snowy planet.
I thought the Normandy crashed around a big red planet or a sun of some sort.
No, you can visit there in Mass Effect 2. There's a little side mission to go to the Normandy crash site and place a memorial, and you can find all of the dog tags of the dead crew, including Navigator Presley.
I keep thinking his name was Percy.
Oh, Navigator Presley. He starts off as a racist, then by the end of the game he's not a racist. I'm not sure about all these aliens on board, Commander.
Ah, what a world. We love Mass Effect, don't we? I have one more gaming thing I would like to interject with.
Okay.
The Master Chief is in Fortnite.
Mm-hmm. So I heard.
It's so fun. It's almost like Fortnite jumped the shark a long time ago, right? But it's weird because I remember talking with some friends, and including friend of the show Ryan, some time ago about like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if like we could play as like Marvel characters and like our favorite video game character? Like I would love to play as Master Chief in Fortnite. It'd just be fun to play thing inside of this fun sandbox game.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you know, you kind of say, oh, that would be a mod thing when the game stops being supported and people can, like, jailbreak it. Like, that'll be a thing in 10 years' time, but probably not anytime soon.
I don't know why he thought that.
I don't know if he said that. Someone mentioned it, or maybe nobody mentioned it, and it was a thought that I had in my head but never actually verbalised, because I know I never said it to anyone. You know, monetization, baby! It was before Fortnite. I know it had an item shop, but it was before it done any crossovers that we thought this. And then
that was a while ago then. It's been doing this kind of stuff for years now.
It would used to rip-off skins. It used to do a skin that looked a little bit like Star-Lord, but wasn't Star-Lord. Or it used to do a skin that looked a little bit like John Wick, but wasn't John Wick. And then they started to actually do official, fully licensed crossovers with the characters. And it's just weird that I can play as Captain America and stand next to the bat signal, or hold a God of War pickaxe while being the Master Chief.
Sorry, I'm just looking longingly at my Lego Dimensions collection.
Well, that's fair. That's very fair. Lego has been doing that for a long time. That's completely fair. But to me, there's something different there. And this isn't a big section. I'm not going to go on and on about Fortnite. I just think it's really cute. And I'm still having a great time. They had done a really, really strange cross-marketing promotion thing with Red versus Blue at the Game Awards.
Yep, Griff and Sarge have a little conversation with Ninja, the streamer. And it's cringy as fuck.
We are those people you used to watch 10 years ago, and then I thought, well, that's probably them referencing, like, the original 5 seasons of RVB. And I was like, no, 10 years ago was Project Freelancer stuff. Like, 10 years ago they weren't...
Oh, God.
10 years ago they were doing that one season in Halo Reach.
Mm-hmm.
It is really strange and frankly off-putting to think that 10 years ago was when we watched the show religiously. It was like the thing. So now they're not even addressing the people, because 10 years ago they would have said we're those people who used to watch 10 years ago, and they're talking about the Halo 1 version of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're talking to us,
yeah,
Kyle. And it's like, wow. And then, but I found it very strange because it was like cross-marketing promotion thing. The only reference of the new season was a sticker on the back of the Master Chief cardboard cutout. Red vs. Blue 0, I think it's called. Which is strange because the latest season of Fortnite is called 0 Point. And we're getting a Walking Dead's crossover into Fortnite as well now. Daryl Dixon and Michonne
I had a question about that. Can you actually play as the Reds and Blues in Fortnite now, or is that just a cross-promotion thing?
That was just for that thing. You can, so people, because you can play as the Chief now, I bought the Master Chief, and if you play on, it's either Xbox or just Xbox Series X's and S's, but there might be Xbox ones as well. You get like a matte black alternate look, and it's kind of like, in the Halo Anniversary editions of games, they always make the Chief look black with a gold visor.
Yes.
So you can get that look for him if you play the game in Xbox, so that if you can buy Master Chief if you play it on PlayStation, but you can't get that look. And then people thought maybe they'll add more customization stuff for like a red version and a blue version, because they've added Capture the Flag on Blood Gulch, which actually plays really well, by the way. I thought it was going to be a buggy mess. Some people said it was. The only people that didn't have a problem were like me and friend of the show Ryan, who were playing on next gen. Even PC.
That's been going around a lot lately.
Yeah, oh yeah. I wish that they would add alt colours, but I don't think they're gonna. No.
Oh well. I just thought it was weird because I've never thought that Jeff, who plays Griff, was a particularly great voice actor until I saw him playing off against Ninja. It's like, oh, Jeff is actually a great voice actor compared to Ninja.
Yeah, I think Ninja isn't, to me, Ninja isn't much of a personality. He's kind of like the Zuck of streaming. I find Ninja thoroughly unimpressive as a sorry, whoa, let's pretend I didn't say that. I didn't mean that. He's not impressive. He's achieved a lot. He's achieved more than I probably will in the entertainment sphere.
That's true. He sold out to Mixer for like $12 billion or whatever ridiculous sum it was.
And then he came back to Twitch and he got to keep all that money. Like he bounced out for a year, made a ton of money and came back and probably got more money from Twitch to exclusively sign. He's as a personality, as like a person you would watch for, don't get it. I don't get Ninja at all. You can watch rage videos online that used to be a little bit more thingy was when he wasn't really kid friendly Ninja. Arguably still might not be, but now the zeitgeist of him is Ninja, the kid friendly streamer that does Fortnite stuff, But back when that wasn't what he was known for, like you can find some fun videos of him getting really, really aggressive and being a bit of a whiny bitch online when he thinks that someone stream sniped him, even though he didn't.
I mean, I can't comment because I still watch Captain Sparkle's videos, so...
In 2020, Kyle?
Yes.
How old is he now? Like 40?
He's almost 30, I think.
Almost 30?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was like 40. Jeez, I thought he looked old 10 years ago.
That's
Back when he was
because you
doing
were a
those
baby 10 years ago.
Minecraft music videos.
Yeah.
Those parody. I remember Captain Sparkles back then. I thought, man, you're like in your mid-20s or something.
He's still doing
30s.
Minecraft videos. I don't know how. I think I would be going insane by this point of playing the same game.
Oh yeah, sometimes like when I watch Fortnite content creators at the moment, and there's no content for them to make videos on. Like the game hasn't had a substantial update. I mean, it still does get them, but I mean, if there is a period of a month or two where there's nothing, you've nothing to talk about. Let's drop into this map and use the same gun again.
I mean, yeah, at least with Minecraft, there's a million bajillion mods and all this stuff that you can do.
Exactly.
But, I mean, even
like,
then,
they've added like a Forge mode into Fortnite now called Creative, where you can like build your own maps. You can get a lot of good custom games out of them actually, and they're a lot of fun. But people don't really watch Fortnite for the creative stuff. People watch Fortnite for the battle royale stuff.
you know, I've been waiting a long time for the Fortnite burnout, and it just hasn't happened. And at this point, I'm content that it's just going to be around forever now.
It is now part of the zeitgeist of gaming.
Yeah, and it's weird because Fortnite is just not a very catchy name, I don't think.
Well, you're building forts, and at night time zombies come to tear down your forts, because the name comes from the Save the World.
Yeah, I know, but that's got
thing.
nothing to do with what the game is now. It's completely irrelevant.
Save the World does still exist, and you still do build forts in Battle Royale.
You build walls, from what I've seen. I wouldn't say you build forts. You build walls and stairs to mess with people. Windows.
But you can crank 90-degree turns and build up these massive towers and intricate structures when you're trying to outbuild someone in a build battle, so that they'll fall to their death, or you'll catch them off guard at a wall and you'll shoot them. Or somebody at the very bottom of that tower will just knock out it from underneath you, and you'll both come plummeting to your death. Building's very much obviously a big part of Fortnite. You're not just building walls; you're building ramps and stairs and pyramids, and you're going up and down.
Sorry,
up and
I
down.
didn't mean to trash your fun game. Okay.
That's not what I mean. I'm just explaining it to you. It's okay. It's okay. Not everyone can be so hardcore as I am. I actually do get burnt out on it sometimes, but I always end up coming back. I've never got burnt out and thought, nah, I'm done. A few times I've thought I will.
We went through that Destiny phase for about a month. Now we've all burnt out of that again.
I'm still on it. I was on it today.
I've stopped. I ran out of fun.
We need you for the raid, Kyle.
You need me and 3 more people, which you've never found yet. So,
nah, we've got people, because they've just confirmed that crossplay's coming this year. Sorry, 2021. Sorry, it'd be coming bloody quickly if it was coming this year. They put a big update, so we've got a full raid team now. We're just waiting for it. Probably summertime. Maybe spring. We need you, Kyle.
But then I have to grind for like 20 hours.
No, you don't. Hush, hush. It's fun. The new exotic sword they added, a lot of fun. Rev it like a chainsaw. Get the Banshee's Wail. Lots of lore. It's right up your alley. But gaming is up your alley. You want to know what's up my alley?
Mm-hmm.
Films. And I was going to say Destiny. Disney just had their big Investor Day conference.
I would say it was much more a TV conference than a film conference. But to a large margin.
Films and television, by the, potato to pata.
It is interesting that Disney is going, like, they're still doing movies, but they're going all in on streaming TV shows now.
Well, they need to prove that Disney Plus is profitable and that it can stream original content, and thus far it's been out for a year and has offered almost nothing. Except a back catalogue that they already owned.
And The Mandalorian, which is holding Disney Plus up at its shoulders right now.
It's one show and a back catalogue, or the Jeff Goldblum show as well, and 1 season of Clone Wars.
So I have a website. It's an article on The Verge. It's the 52 things Disney just announced. Shall I just run through it real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so these are we got trailers for WandaVision, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a first look at Loki. They announced Hawkeye is premiering in fall 2021. They released a trailer for What If. 3 new series, Ironheart, Armor Wars, Secret Invasion. They announced some casting updates for Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and Miss Marvel. They announced that Miss Marvel's going to be in Captain Marvel 2. They announced the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. They announced something called I Am Groot, which is a series of short films. They announced Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. They announced that Black Panther 2 will not recast Chadwick Boseman, which I don't really know how that works, but whatever.
I'll explain it to you.
Okay. They announced that Doctor Strange, WandaVision, and the next Spider-Man are all some sort of tied trilogy type deal.
Which was
they announced a new Fantastic Four movie.
Woo!
Okay, now we're on to Star Wars. We're getting...
That was just Marvel, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, that was just Marvel.
Kevin Feige.
So Obi-Wan Kenobi, officially confirmed now, I guess, and it has Hayden Christensen in it.
It'd already been confirmed. The only thing that was confirmed was... The only thing that they confirmed the first time today was Hayden Christensen.
Okay, this framing, and I've seen all the articles frame it this way, is annoying me. We're getting 2 spin-offs of The Mandalorian, Rangers of the New Republic, and Ahsoka, and I just want to say Ahsoka is not a fucking spin-off of The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is a spin-off of Ahsoka, goddammit.
I can see their train of thought, but from a nerd culture like us, I would see why we would label that as incorrect.
Just whatever. Anyway, Star Wars The Bad Batch got a trailer. We got like a behind the scenes type deal for Star Wars Andor.
That show. That for a long time that has been the Section 31 show of Star Wars. It's like, are they ever gonna make it? Who knows?
Apparently they are. We got The Acolyte, which is a High Republic era show.
Dealing with the dogs.
A droid story. Star Wars Lando, Star Wars Visions, and then Star Wars Rogue Squadron, a movie directed by Patty Jenkins,
whose father was a fighter pilot.
And then an untitled Taika Waititi Star Wars movie,
which will probably be produced by Kevin Feige.
And now we're on to Disney and Pixar. Care. Raya and the Last Dragon, a Baymax series. Zootopia Plus, a Zootopia series, Tiana, a Princess and the Frog series, a long-form Moana series, Encanto, a movie by Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's pretty hot right now.
Yeah, he's having his light in the last couple of years.
Yep. Iwaju, which is an African thing, which is cool, I guess. And then more, a Cars series following Lightning McQueen. I'm skipping some stuff now. A Cars series following Lightning McQueen and Mater. You said it was on a road trip.
There seemed to be some sort of road trip.
Pixar Popcorn, featuring iconic Pixar characters. Dog Day is a show about the dog from Up.
From Up. They showed a clip of it. It was bizarre. I thought I was having a dream. Not a good one.
New movies, Luca, a movie about a boy in Italy, a movie about Buzz Lightyear starring Chris Evans.
I can't wait.
A movie, I didn't hear about this one until now, Turning Red, a movie about a girl who turns into a panda when she gets excited.
Yes, they showed that.
Noah Hawley is making an Alien TV series for Hulu.
Yep, the Hulu stuff, I think, I won't have much to say about that because that's very much a thing that doesn't exist in the UK.
Ice Age is getting a spin-off starring Simon Pegg.
His character, I think, was only in the last 2, and it was the eye patch pirate character.
I don't think I've watched an Ice Age since the second one. I know that's like a franchise that just kept happening in the background of my life somewhere.
There's like 5 of them now, I think, and probably a series of like smaller.
I know there's a series based on the raccoon. Is he a raccoon? What is he? The little guy with the nuts.
The squirrel thing?
Yeah, what is he?
He's a prehistoric squirrel.
Oh, okay.
An Ice Age squirrel with the big fang. Yeah, him, that guy.
Disney Plus is getting a price hike. That was an important announcement.
In the US by $1.
That's how they get you. It just keeps going up by $1. So that was a lot. I don't know if I really communicated how much that was because I was going quickly.
Ladies and gentlemen, A lot was announced, but we only really care about the Marvel and Star Wars and some of the Pixar stuff.
A lot was announced, but we only really care about most of it.
So, I want to talk about the multiverse saga. This is supposed to be the next big story after the Infinity Saga. And I think that it's brilliant that we're kind of coming in and leaving in the space of a couple of years instead of spending 10 years on it. Because he knows that the attention span is going to limit. People are going to want their next Infinity War. Kevin Feige is a smart man.
Do people want the next Infinity War?
People want their next Infinity War now, not in 2030.
I don't know if I agree with that, but...
People do. People really do. Because people want spectacle. They want the stakes to keep going up and up and up. It made the more money than any film has ever made in its history.
They're never going to capture... I feel like he's smart enough to know that they're never going to get that much money again.
They're never going to get that much money again. I would agree with you, and I think he would probably acknowledge it too. But how do you still feel like you're at that level? And you do your big thing. You do your massive, exciting event with old characters returning. And again, another example of Marvel completely fucking over DC, where they were going to do their Flashpoint thing and it was going to be fantastic. And Michael Keaton was coming back as Batman and it was all fun and roses. And we were loving it. And Ben Affleck was returning after walking out because his life fell apart.
I mean, that is the major question. Where is Tobey Maguire?
Well, I'll tell you where Tobey Maguire is. He was spotted recently at a costume fitting venue.
Oh,
now,
my.
it's possible he could be doing that for any film, but I would argue Tobey Maguire doesn't have much of a career at the moment and would maybe need to do Spider-Man. However, right, so here's what I've read online and seen what's been getting put about that isn't actually official. So, WandaVision... Now, this is what Kevin Feige just confirmed, but this has been long speculated before he confirmed it. WandaVision is part 1.
Mm-hmm.
And sometime during this show, she's going to rip open the multiverse and shit's going to hit the fan. It's going to go mental.
What I'm getting from that trailer is I feel like maybe every episode is like a different era of sitcom. Did you get that impression?
That's exactly what it is. Every episode is supposed to be a tribute to a different sitcom of historical importance. And funnily enough, Disney own a lot of them now via buying things like Fox and they own ABC and whatnot.
Oh God, that's the underpinning of this entire conversation. By the way, is a deep uncertainty about the deep uncomfortableness of Disney owning all entertainment. That's just in the back of my mind at all points of this conversation.
Like they're going to have a monopoly.
They already do.
Yeah. So the black and white stuff I think is supposed to be like the Dick Van Dyke Show kind of era, and I Love Lucy and such.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to get to Everyone Loves Raymond, and it's going to keep going up, and Cheers and whatnot. But at some point latter half of the show, because we saw like Monica Rambeau and whatnot in the trailer, she's from Captain Marvel, and she's shot in Captain Marvel 2, but she's kind of separate.
The little girl from Captain Marvel, yeah.
Yes. The multiverse is going to get ripped open by Wanda. And we know that she's kind of co-starring in Doctor Strange 3. Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange 2, rather. So something will happen at the end of that show.
I miss her Russian accent.
She's become Americanized in the last 4 years, Kyle. Then Spider-Man 3 is going to happen. Sorry, it's weird that Spider-Man 3 is part 2 and Doctor Strange 2 is part 3. He's going to have to navigate this... Because again, I think Sony's always they've wanted to fast track a Sinister Six. That's what killed Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, and that's what killed the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield. Now they're trying it again.
So they're like, we've established all the villains now. They're just in 3 different timelines.
They're in different dimensions, Kel. But now we have holes in dimensions, also handily mentioned by Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home. I know that was all a big con, but Earth 616 was mentioned at name. And the multiverse, and time travel and Endgame kind of used multiverse stuff slightly as well. Mm-hmm. So we've got all these villains set up finally from previous franchises.
All this stuff, they're a big risk of confusing like regular fans who aren't into all this stuff properly.
So I tried to explain this to a friend the other night, and he was immediately confused. He was like,
exactly.
I just like Spider-Man. I don't want to have to watch the Avengers. And I was like, tough. You're gonna have to watch the Avengers. I think that your average moviegoer, they get time travel now. It's done. It's boring. It got boring to the point where in the last few years we've had to start changing the rules of time travel to being dimension jumping instead. Like, we've had to start trying to find new ways to make time travel seem interesting because people don't care anymore. And now, parallel dimensions. I know that's always been a thing. Doctor Who and, back in older sci-fi, it's been a thing, but it's been very nerdy and it was never mainstream, but everybody knew time travel. Time travel's been done to death. We're finished with time travel. Who likes time travel?
The mirror universe, Nathan. Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Kyle. That's it. You know the ball. You know the game. And
do they ever call it the mirror universe?
Yeah, in the latest episode, but you're jumping, Ken.
Sorry.
Jumping.
Sorry, come back in a few weeks when we talk about Discovery.
Back in a few weeks when we talk about Discovery. And when that episode comes out, we'll link it in the description of this episode. And now we've got to find new ways to keep getting people engaged, and that's the multiverse. And now we're going in deep and fast, and we're not going to have any mercy for those people that will be whiplashed by it. We're going in, Kyle. And you just need proof of the name of the third film in that saga, Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness. And then Spider-Man 2, Tom Holland's going to deal with the Sinister Six. And a source that I trust quite forthrightly, she has recently said that apparently she's heard that William Dafoe has been confirmed to be coming back as the Green Goblin.
Isn't it Willem Dafoe?
I thought it was William. Maybe it's Willem. Sure, who cares? We know who we're on about. The man with the big smile, whoever wants to be Joker.
Spider-Man!
Yeah, And we've already got J. Jonah Jameson back,
Avenge me!
Avenge me! Yeah, right, okay, love him. Great guy. So happy he's come back. And we've got the Doc Ock from the Tobey Maguire timeline coming back. Mysterio's probably going to come back from Tom Holland stuff. We've got Vulture coming back. Well, that's up in the air because apparently he's signed for Flashpoint in DC, and they might have scheduling conflicts because Spider-Man's filming right now, and but I think they're kind of doing a lot of the Tom Holland stuff first and out of the way. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the word is Andrew Garfield's signed. He's definitely in the bag. He will be in the film. However, Kyle, where's Tobey Maguire?
Where is Tobey Maguire? That is the question of this podcast.
That is the whole reason this show was set up, and that joke you fumbled at the start of the episode.
Nice callback.
Tobey Maguire, Kyle, apparently still hasn't signed on the dotted line yet. And I'll tell you for why. He may, I emphasise may, he may be holding out for, more money is probable, but also he wants more of a role in the film. Not necessarily to be like a co-lead. He doesn't want him to be darting around the film with Tom Holland like he's Elder Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse and Tom Holland's Miles Morales. But he wants some scenes where he actually takes his mask off and acts. He doesn't just want to swing by with his mask on at the third act and do an Avengers Endgame, Avengers Assemble scene. Mm-hmm. He wants to have some scenes in the film where the mask is off and he chats and you see how he's doing.
Sure.
Apparently also Mary Jane Watson from Tobey Maguire's thing and Kirsten Dunst. And apparently also Emma Stone, who was Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man. Apparently they're both signed to come back.
But she died.
Oh yeah, but the multiverse, Kyle. The multiverse.
Hey, if they get her to play Spider-Gwen, that would be pretty cool.
Fantastic. Yeah, exactly. Can't get Haley Steinfeld. She's playing Kate Bishop now. And she voiced Spider-Gwen and Into the Spider-Verse fantastically. So there's, they're coming back, and the only person that hasn't been confirmed or even speculated to be in this film is Tom Hardy's Venom, and at this point, why not? This film is so crowded, and you would think, well, that's awful, look what happened in the other Spider-Man films where they've done this, but Kevin Feige has creative input on this film like he didn't in the others, and he'd just done Avengers Endgame, which had more characters in it than any other film ever made.
Yeah, but with the Spider-Man stuff, you've got to deal with Sony, and maybe Kevin Feige just doesn't like Venom.
It's very, very, very possible. But I happen to trust in Feige we trust. In Feige we trust at the end of the day. Now, even though I hear all these announcements every few seconds, and Daredevil might be in it as well to represent Peter Parker in the courtroom, but maybe not. Maybe they'll just show up in She-Hulk.
Is it a new Daredevil or Netflix?
No, the
Daredevil?
Charlie Cox one.
Hey,
Netflix Daredevil.
He's a good Daredevil.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if he'll show up in costume or if he'll just be lawyer. But it'll still be him. Like, we'll know it's him, but maybe Peter Parker won't know that he's a nighttime crime fighter.
I would be extremely funny if they made the Netflix stuff completely integrated it, because it's so different in tone. Like, can you imagine fun, happy Peter Parker hanging out with Daredevil?
I mean, well, Kingpin originally was a Spider-Man villain, you know.
I know.
I would love Kingpin to come back. Did Kingpin die?
I don't know. I have to admit, I stopped watching the Netflix shows when I...
So did I. So did I, but I really enjoyed that Kingpin. He was a great Kingpin.
He was.
I would love him to come back in some way, shape or form. But yeah, so there's so many people in this film, and you know what? When I read it, I'm like, oh no, Kyle. Oh no, geez, no. This seems big and over. It seems like it's bursting. How are we going to do it?
Did you not watch Infinity War?
No, exactly. But I'm thinking of it from the point of view of Spider-Man and other Spider-Man films that have attempted to crash and burned. But in Feige, we trust. That's what I keep coming back to. In Feige, we trust, and everything will be okay because he's never wrong to say it. And you know, I'm so excited for Spider-Man, and that would then take us into Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness, where apparently some people in Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3 might be crossing over. Like Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield might actually show up in those films as well, because who knows, maybe it's a cliffhanger ending. And then the Multiverse of Madness is your big Infinity War Endgame.
Except it's a Doctor Strange film.
Except it's a Doctor Strange film, yes. It's your, big Eater of Worlds thing where you've got to get everyone back in their own dimensions and reality's collapsing, and you could ask, where's Captain Marvel? She'd be much use here. This is all magic stuff. What good is Spider-Man going to be? Well, he's tied to the other Spider-Man that have shown up.
It's just like that scene in Spider-Man 2 where he's asking where everyone is. So, they fucked off somewhere, don't worry about it.
Don't invoke her name. Where's Doctor Strange off the grid? Yeah. It's exactly what they're going to do. So I'm overjoyed and looking forward to it. It's all going to happen in quick succession. WandaVision's about to come out. It's weird that the first part of this arc is going to be a TV show, but I'm not going to watch it. This is what Kevin Feige's doing so expertly.
They're definitely pushing TV, like I said. I mean, most of what they've announced is TV shows.
He's making Marvel TV become essential viewing for the MCU as a whole, whereas previously you didn't need to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Do you think Kevin Feige sees the writing on the wall about cinemas?
I mean, I undoubtedly think that he does, and I think they all do. That's the age of cinema is not winding down, but the age of the cinema being your exclusive one shop to see Avengers level threats. It just ain't. It's starting to go downhill, but that's just because the pandemic.
Oh yeah, that definitely hastened it along. But
yeah, I think. But by the way, cinemas will still be around. I will still always go to a cinema. I just think that people are now going to have more choice, and that means a net loss will happen. I think we're definitely at the end of watching cinemas doing the bare minimum, like messy theaters and allowing people to kind of maybe look at their phone on the sly or chat.
It's going to have to become a more prestige experience, is what you're saying.
Exactly. And certain cinemas, like my cinema of choice, Cineworld Cinemas, they provide a VIP experience for people. It's at a premium cost as well, but it's a good day out. You get an all-you-can-eat buffet, as much snacks as you like in the cinema with you. Get lazy boy recliner chairs, you get a little table you can pull around in front of you. It's wonderful. You get a restaurant out front and a bar before you go in. Great stuff. But that is a premium cost, and you can't do it unless you're actually going to the VIP experience. You can't just use it then go see a regular film. You need to be booked. But I think that's maybe all cinemas will become. You can't do your bog stand. I don't think immediately. I think probably actually see come maybe the second half of 2021. I kind of think we're going to be filled into thinking things are fine for a while. People are going back to the cinemas and whatnot, and cinemas are running.
I mean, they are working on a vaccine.
Vaccine's already rolling out.
Exactly. I mean, working on it as in rolling it out.
Oh yeah. Fair. Okay. Yeah. Okay. When are we recording this? October. Yeah, so I think Feige does. I think they all do, but Feige just is an astute person. But it does come down to Disney Plus had to prove itself as being a platform for content in the first place, whether the COVID.
Well, I do think it's a smart move to go to TV anyway, because just in general, TV is it's less of a big event, and it's a much better way to keep the franchise going without it being burnout. Because, people like, we always reference Red Letter Media, and they talk about Endgame being the last blockbuster, which I don't know how much I agree with, but I see where they're coming from.
Yes, I mean, with COVID now, who knows, honestly. Like, I know we're still going to get films in the cinema, but I don't think a film's ever going to surpass Endgame now. Maybe if they do a re-release of the first Avatar and that'll get counted as overall blockbuster.
That's cheating.
That's it. If they stream it in a cinema, who cares that there's 10 years apart and they had a little break in between? It counts.
Well, then we'll just re-release Avengers Endgame again.
Well, you know what? Disney own them both.
That's true. Disney always wins.
Disney always wins. So, Multiverse Saga is going to be fascinating, but we haven't even scratched the surface.
I know.
Secret Invasion and Nick Fury show where the Skrulls start taking over people. All these new, younger people, like Kate Bishop's coming in to play Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting Ironheart. We've got Miss Marvel.
I think Miss Marvel will be fun if they get it right. They've got like a complete newbie actor in it, which is interesting.
Well, I was going to say, you know what this is all leading to, right?
Captain Marvel 2?
No. The Young Avengers.
Oh.
It seems so obvious now, doesn't it?
It does. Ironheart, Miss Marvel. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yes. We're going to get a Young Avengers. Probably a show. But you're going to get people that go see, people who want to go see Captain Marvel 2, they then like Miss Marvel, and they go, I liked her, where can I see more of her? Well, she's got this show called Miss Marvel, and you watch her and you think, that show was great. Where else? Well, this show called The Young Avengers, and you'll meet all these other characters, and you're going to go and watch all their shows as well. It's all I
want is, and I still haven't watched season 7 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm sorry. But all I want is for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to show up in that Falcon Winter Soldier show. I don't know how. Just have Fitz and Simmons just show up for one episode, and then I'll be happy.
It's tragic that Falcon the Winter Soldier looks to be the most boring generic show.
It does, doesn't it? I'm glad you agree with me.
It's like I'm gonna watch it, I guess, but it's like if Robin got his own film, I don't care about either of them that much to. Like, I'm gonna again. Maybe that's why they've got two of them to balance out the fact that they're both half.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely the reason why.
Yeah, and I think the legacy of Captain America is interesting, but it's not Captain America. It's like. I'm really excited for WandaVision, and I'm super stoked for Loki. I don't have much to say about Falcon the Winter Soldier, really, because
the trailer it looked very, it looked kind of generic.
It's a Marvel show for your dad.
My dad, specifically, Scott Rods at YouTube.com.
Specifically Scott Rods at YouTube.com, yes. Specific, not for anyone else, just your dad. It's just a show for the dad of the world. It's your dad can watch
your dad.
Your dad, yeah, my dad even, anyone's dad. You can watch this show. That's what it's meant for. It's not too wildy and wacky and mind-bending. Or maybe your relatively conservative mother. It's about US soldiers doing the right thing, no space, no time travel, no wacky adventures.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a spy show. It's gritty and real, and all the colours are muted.
Except it doesn't look nearly as interesting as the Winter Soldier.
No, nothing's ever going to be as interesting as that film. Best Marvel film ever made.
I'm not going to side with you on that one, but sure.
We won't debate it. We've not got time. So what do you think of Loki?
I mean, it's Tom Hiddleston. I'm never going to say a bad word about him. He's so charming.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see him back. However, this is Loki pre-redemption.
Kind of. I feel like they're just going to gloss over that. He's doing some work for this secret agency now. Whatever.
For the Time Variance Authority.
Mm-hmm. And that one actor guy, I can't remember his name.
Owen Wilson,
yeah.
Wow.
It's weird to see him.
I'm Lightning
McQueen.
I was the knight of the museum. I was the cowboy.
Are you referencing something right now?
No, he really is the cowboy. I'm just doing an impression of him.
I thought this was like some sort of comedy skit where someone was making fun of Owen Wilson.
No, I'm just really, really funny. That was all original.
Okay.
Copyright. Rent it here. If you use it, pay me money.
You know what? It's an interesting concept for a show. I don't know how much I have to say about it. Maybe, what are we going to do with podcasts when all these shows come out, Nathan? It's going to be a fucking nightmare.
Kyle, we're having a drought. This is the end of the show.
It's a review show from here on, folks.
We're going to completely streamline the content. We're going to rebrand.
I'm looking at this list now, and I'm just going to say something. I'm going to let my inner SJW out for a minute.
Go ahead.
Now that Captain Marvel was a success, they're like, oh, we can actually do female heroes. They've got Ironheart, they've got Miss Marvel, they got She-Hulk. They're letting it all out now. Oh my god, women can be successful.
True. I would, however, also say that those characters no one gave a monkey's about. Like, you couldn't have made a Doctor Strange movie in 2008.
That's true.
People
said that about Iron Man too, remember?
Did they though?
They did.
I
go back to 2008. People did actually, and Thor as well. Thor was a joke before the Thor movie came out.
I think, to some extent, I would agree with you, but those were still known names. You could still, like, if you're going to push off and start a voyage.
I've heard the name Miss Marvel for years now. I feel like Miss Marvel is pretty successful.
Well, Miss Marvel as a show has been getting spoken about for the past 4 years now. And the character only existed in 2011, I think. It's a pretty new character.
Yeah, but
Miss Marvel didn't exist in 2008. I'm happy they're doing it, but I definitely think that they're only allowed to do it because of the success of what they've already made. You couldn't have made a Guardians of the Galaxy movie previous to, Avengers.
At this point, I think they can just do whatever, right?
No one's
going to stop them.
At this point, they could do a film and they do the whole MCU.
They could do a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
They can't. Oh, imagine they done that. Wow, and it's live action. It's part of the canon. Jesus.
You know what? You talk about trusting. I trust in James Gunn. He's back now. Remember when they fired him?
For a second.
And then they brought him back again after everyone forgot about it.
It's the anti-SJW side of me coming out. I think that was bullshit. It was wild that they're able to do all this stuff now, and he's so excited about it, and I'm excited about it, and I'm going to watch it, and he's going to make it, and it's going to be good. And they're doing it really cost-effective as well, because they're just making it on the set of Guardians 3.
Fair enough. They're just going to put some Christmas lights on Groot and call it a day.
Exactly, yeah. It's like in Fortnite, they put some Christmas lights on the bushes and call it a day.
Oh, you said that this website doesn't say it, but you said Tim Roth is coming back to She-Hulk?
He is. Tim Roth is returning to She-Hulk along with Mark Ruffalo.
What I want to know is Tim Roth playing Tim Roth, or is he playing a big CGI monster?
Well, he is credited as playing Abomination, but I think he'll probably show up as maybe... Oh no, because that was the whole point. He couldn't transform back and forward, could he? He was locked. Yes, he'll be playing a big CGI monster.
They can fix that. It's been like 10 years since Hulk came out.
What the word is they're going to do is that this is going to kind of be the start of... Is it Hulk? She-Hulk is your gateway, but it's going to kind of be like a group Hulk thing.
It's going to segue into Agents of Smash. Is that what you're saying?
William Hurt is supposedly going to be in it, and it's like he's going to become Red Hulk at some point. Like, even in the Black Widow trailer, he's got a red cane with him.
Oh, they're not doing... Is that Ross? Is that...
Ross.
What's his name?
Yeah. He was in Incredible Hulk, and he was in Civil War, and he's the government secretary guy, general guy, guy in the suit. Also, right. So, do you want to kind of... If this turns out not to be the case, I'm going to be the person who I trust implicitly online. I'm going to feel like a big idiot. But do you want me to kind of... It's a spoiler. It's a full spoiler. Do you want me to tell you?
Sure, go for it.
So apparently, see the Florence Pugh's character in the new Black Widow film? She's the blonde lady, the blonde Black Widow?
Yep.
So apparently she is working for him, and she shows up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and she shows up and she's supposed to kind of
and
show up.
And that's why
in
they
these
had
shows.
to delay Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Exactly. Though apparently now that's having to come out in front of Black Widow. Like, they can't delay it anymore. That's got to come out now.
Just put Black Widow out on Disney Plus. Come on. Like, just give up, right?
Just give up. Stop fighting it.
You're not going to get it in cinemas, and even when it comes out in cinemas, it's not going to be as successful as they want it to be. They just need to accept it.
Well, apparently she's showing up and everything, and I think at some point he's going to turn into Red Hulk. And not word is, but speculation is this. It's not. This is just complete speculation. This isn't like even a rumor. This is just speculation. They are working on a thing called the Thunderbolts, which Ross, Secretary Ross, General Ross, whatever, his nickname is Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt Ross. That's his thing. And the Thunderbolts is kind of like Marvel's Suicide Squad. Where, how, like, remember in Suicide Squad, there's the lady, and she's, like, in charge of them all?
What are we, some kind of Thunderbolt
No,
squad?
yeah, exactly. And they're kind of, like, maybe some less than kind of grey characters. Everyone, apparently Hawkeye was a member for a while. Like, Jeremy Renner Hawkeye. Not necessarily Jeremy Renner, but that character, Clint.
When he was going through his edgy period, and
and a Black Widow has been, probably it will be this Florence Pugh's version, the blonde one. And you'll get maybe, I don't know if Red Hulk is actually a member, but I think maybe Taskmaster. Oh, that was the thing. Taskmaster was working for Thunderbolt Ross as well in this new Black Widow film. And that's like a big thing, and it's a post-credit scene. It turns out maybe they're angling at something here, like it's a government thing, because he was kind of always against the Avengers and their wild running, unregulated, Mm-hmm. So, I mean, here's the thing, that he's an old man. They need to CGI him at some point. Why not turn him into a big red Hulk monster?
Of course.
Saves him having to show up on set. It makes sense. So that's kind of what may be getting built to. The spoiler was that apparently Taskmaster is also working for Thunderbolt Ross. But the speculation is that they're building up to that show, the Thunderbolts, that they'll make at some point. Marvel! And we have...
And meanwhile, DC has the Snyder Cut.
I'm so excited for it. My Snyder Cut hoodie is on its way. I'm so excited for Snyder Cut, Kyle.
I saw a post you responded to on Twitter where it was like quality versus quantity, and I laughed out loud. It's fucking stupid.
I appreciate the DC movies. I feel like they're driving at something, not always successfully. Very important, not always successfully. Like Batman vs Superman, I think it was really driving at something. The film might have been a bit of a mess, though I enjoy it. I think it was driving something. Justice League, the version that we got, the Justice League, wasn't fucking driving anything. That was a mess. That was a mess. But like Batman vs Superman, like, the shots are so purposeful, the music's great, and there's this debate about, where does God come from? Does God even exist? Do we hate God? Is he is the devil?
Sounds edgy.
Sounds brilliant, Kel. It's really great. I think it's supposed to be a think piece, but it ended up being a rock smash film. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form even going to try and compare them to the MCU, because the MCU is just doing everything right. The MCU is just, guns ablaze and everything's fantastic. I just can't fault the MCU. I think the MCU is absolutely 10 out of 10. I wouldn't say that it's not as good as the DCU. I think DCU's got a lot of work to do. But I also, at the same time, don't think the DCU is completely worthless, and I'm really excited for the Snyder Cut. We haven't even spoke about the Star Wars shows. We're an hour and 20 in.
No, I guess... I mean, I know one of our friends, when these announcements were coming out, was worried that it was too much Star Wars. I don't know if I'm quite on that train. I think if they're going to do Star Wars as a big universe, they have to just do it. They've been really dragging their heels on it at the moment. I mean, they've been releasing films.
Yeah, I mean, Obi-Wan was supposed to get a film. Boba Fett was supposed to get a film. Now I think a lot of Boba Fett's stuff is kind of enrolled into The Mandalorian. Obi-Wan's turned into a TV show.
It seems like they've given up on films. I mean, I know they're doing Rogue Squadron, but for the most part, they're going all in on TV.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's not as tight as the MCU. It's a lot more loose. I think they're playing. Like, it's all still canon and it can't contradict each other. But I think they're not trying to do one. They're not building up to all these little small films. Then they can do a Star Wars episode film 10 years from now, and it'll be the culmination.
I'm just glad they're finally doing at least one show that isn't set in the original trilogy era.
What one's?
The Acolyte, baby.
Yeah. Well, see, I read Rangers of the New Republic like 3 times as Rangers of the High Republic, and I was like, why do I care? And I was like, oh no, the Cara Dune show, that's what this is going to be. That's what this is going to be.
Oh boy.
She isn't going to die because she needs to show up on this show. So it's just, it's fine, okay, whatever, I'm not fussed. But yeah, the Acolyte show and the High Republic. High Republic fucking didn't exist until like a month ago, 6 months ago. It was the Republic from the prequels, and then it was the Old Republic, and it was the Empire. They were the three things in the First Order. I guess the New Republic as well.
It shouldn't the prequel era be the Old Republic because it's old?
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's been around for 1,000 generations.
Even in Episode 4, Tarkin, I think, references it as the Old Republic. He talks about the Imperial Senate's been dissolved and the remnants of the Old Republic has been swept away. Yeah, I mean, the High Republic seems to now be the Old Republic from, Knights of the Old Republic. That's what that is. So, I think that's going to be... The High Republic, I think, might be their kind of test bed to just...
All I know of it is that book cover that looks a lot like Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I know what you mean. They're doing some comic books and stuff. I really couldn't care less, honestly. That seems to me like their test bed where the High Republic's going to be so big and expansive and prequely they can do anything in there. They'll do anything in there. Nothing will necessarily have to contradict because the universe is really really big in the High Republic. But then when you get to the time of the prequels and the sequel trilogy, everything is really pigeonholed and there's only three things.
It's like Destiny.
Oh, the lore's really expansive before the saga begins, and the saga begins it gets pigeonholed into a couple of things. Fair. The Ahsoka show, who knows? Thrawn, Ezra.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just going to go in circles and talking about it. I don't really have many thoughts on it. It doesn't... Surprisingly, an Ahsoka show doesn't make me think all that much.
It's. I don't know what they're going to do with it, is the thing.
I think people have been speculating, screaming and shouting about Ahsoka for so long. Great character. Love her. Terrific. Properly had an arc.
Of course.
People have been talking...
Rosario Dawson and The Mandalorian.
People have speculated absolutely everything to death about the character in live action. That, I don't even know what there is to discuss anymore because everything has been suggested. One of them will happen.
Probably, yeah. I mean, do we even know if... They've said it's the sequel to, or it's a spin-off of The Mandalorian, so I assume it's that time period.
Probably.
But...
I think...
It doesn't have to be.
It's like all these shows... Like, The Mandalorian is an original work. That's like an original Star Wars piece that isn't based on anything really, though it's quickly becoming a third pillar in the Filoni verse. And then it's the first live action Star Wars show, and all these other shows are kind of spurting out, but I think they're first going to make their debut. That's why Rangers of the New Republic, it'll be the Cara Dune show, that she's splintering off from Mandalorian, Ahsoka's...
I'm not invested in Cara
Dune. I don't care
Dune.
either. I think it's going to be bigger than just her, but that's the thing. She's the ranger that we know, the marshal. That'll be her. She'll show up. Ahsoka, this is her live action debut. She gets a show that will be from the same actor. She splinters off from this. They could just start them without having to do a backdoor entrance via Mando, but if they insist on putting them in Mando first, sure, call them a spin-off. You don't need to put them in Mando first, but if you're gonna...
Yeah, I mean, these two shows are coming from a different place, because I don't think Cara Dune was introduced with the idea of giving her a show. I don't think so.
Depends how far in advance of thinking. I don't necessarily think that's true either.
But Ahsoka definitely was, on the other hand, I think. It's like, we'll put her in and test the waters. Okay, people responded well. Show's a green light. Go.
Potentially Boba Fett.
By the way, tune in next week to hear our thoughts about The Mandalorian.
We do have thoughts.
Link in the description.
We have thoughts on The Mandalorian. We'll get there. As we're recording this, we are 2 days away from season 2 season final, and we'll talk about it all then.
Yeah.
And then in a couple of weeks' time after that, we're going to be just reviewing Star Trek Discovery season 3.
One of these two conversations are probably going to be very different, unless it turns out The Mandalorian ends terribly. But I don't think so.
This next episode has to be pretty bad.
It would have to be pretty bad.
But really bad. Discovery. Let's not talk about it. We have thoughts. We'll get there. You tune in, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in.
We're talking about the future of Star Wars right now. We got a trailer, or they didn't call it a trailer, they called it a sizzle reel.
They called everything a sizzle reel.
It was clearly a trailer. It was a trailer, right? That one specifically was just a trailer for the Bad Batch.
Yeah, but they called it, it was, like on the Andor show, that was genuinely a sizzle reel. They called that, I would have called it a trailer. I don't know why they labelled it a sizzle reel. It was a trailer.
Anyway, it looks like Clone Wars.
Which is fine, you know. I didn't really think they were going to change up the art style, though precedent would say that I should have thought they were going to do that, but I just never thought they were, and they haven't. I liked seeing the Republic will be reorganised into the First Galactic Empire. That was nice to just see, you know.
Fennec Shaw was in there.
Was she?
Did you miss her? She was very obviously in the trailer a couple of times.
I saw the person with the helmet, but I've always the critique about that visual appearance is she looks just like the bounty hunter from Attack of the Clones that works with Jango Fett. Like, it looks like a really generic, like it's the generic bounty hunter look that isn't Leia's look from Return of the Jedi.
Her helmet has an orange thing on it.
This isn't the one from Attack of the Clones also, but it's just nighttime. Like, it looks, it's such, I can't express to you enough, Kel, how much of a generic look I think that character Fennec has. Like, everything.
I mean, that's the whole, I mean, I love Ming-Na Wen, but that character is just generic bounty hunter lady.
It could have just resurrected the character from Attack of the Clones, would have been, that was a shapeshifter, at least that'd be interesting. Yeah, it's, you know, loving Ming-Na Wen, but the character's nothing. Nice to be there. A little bit of, she's a wall in which you can bounce dialogue off of, I guess.
She can shoot some people if you need some people shot.
Exactly, yeah. I don't really think there's much depth there at the moment. I don't think there'll ever be. Yeah, so yeah, that's Fennec. I do not have a problem with it. I didn't think it was because of the...
My biggest problem with the Bad Batch show is the Bad Batch. I don't think they're that interesting.
Nor do I. However, you know, in Filoni we trust, maybe there's a plan, you know. Ahsoka started off being a really hated character.
I don't hate the Bad Batch, though. They're not annoying. They're just bland.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But I think they're going to be like trying to find their way in the early days of the Empire. Tarkin showed up. That was interesting. And I honestly never saw that. I tell you, I never saw it coming. And but I saw nothing coming, really. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, the Bad Batch, really? But no Tarkin. You know, it's fine. They seem to be... I don't know if they're shooting clones or helping clones. I saw them fighting droids, but not separatist droids. Oh, who knows? Who knows?
Maybe they'll run into Cal Kestis.
Maybe they'll run into the Mandalorian.
It's a bit early in the time.
Nah, they can meet a child.
It could be a little baby Mandalorian.
Remember when Kanan showed up in the last season of the Clone Wars and had no dialogue? Yeah, Kanan's in the meeting.
Oh yeah, he's standing next to his master. Yeah. It's like Ursa Wren showing up as well without any dialogue.
Precisely.
Just so everyone knew that she wasn't the lady with purple hair. That was a different character.
Her name was Rook, but not Rook Throns.
Not Rook.
Not Rook.
We already did a Clone Wars.
We've already done that. Yeah, let's not circle. Now, Kyle, do we want to touch on Buzz Lightyear or do we want to end it?
What's the touch on? It's weird.
It's this Buzz Lightyear. The toy is a toy based on a fictional character in the universe from a blockbuster film. This is that film.
It's weird. And he's voiced by Chris Evans instead of Tim Allen.
I love Tim Allen, but I get why they got Chris Evans. They want some new, youthful, dramatic lighting person.
And also Tim Allen's too problematic for Disney.
Nah, he was just in Toy Story 4. He was an ex-con before he done the Santa Claus.
Yeah, but he didn't have a Twitter account then. Does he have a Twitter?
I don't know. I hope he does. I follow that. I don't currently. Tim Allen seems like a right ruckus of a man. Like, he's the type of person you would plough with drinks just to see what he'd say. You know, like, I want to just, he seems like just a guy where, like, man, you just keep talking, dig your own grave, buddy.
I want to know when we're getting the next Star Wars games. When do we get those announcements?
E3.
E3 doesn't exist anymore, Nathan. It's dead. It died. COVID killed it. It died of COVID-19.
I think they'll be announced at some EA Games conference that overlaps with the Sony conference and the Microsoft conference and the Nintendo conference that isn't E3 but is E3. You know?
And that's the next time we'll probably do a real episode instead of a review.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was saying this to Kyle before we done an episode today. I love when we do a regular ep. But there's really not much ever to talk about unless we end up talking about a show and end up reviewing it. We had this, whenever there's a conference and a big, announcement is made and there's tons and tons and tons of stuff, there's something to talk about there. But in the absence of it, we're not content creators necessarily mutually, we don't have much to talk about.
I mean, yeah, we talked for like half an hour about shit I didn't like. For Assassin's Creed, there you go.
There's go. There's something.
You just talk about whatever.
We don't want this to be a show where
What's
you get angry.
What's the weather like, Nathan?
We don't want to do a show where you get angry. That's what the Star Trek reviews
That's what the
for.
people want, Nathan.
That's what the Star Trek reviews are for. A show where we get angry. I want to talk about the multiverse saga.
Hold that thought. I need the toilet.
God damn it. So unprofessional. I just got a new phone case for my iPhone 12 Pro, ladies and gentlemen. It's the matte black D brand grip that they done a crossover with MKBHD4 on YouTube. Marquez Brownlee. It's a very, very nice case. Nice grip. Feels a bit like sandpaper on the sides, just to make sure you definitely don't drop it. And I got a tempered glass screen protector. Got the Pacific Blue iPhone 12, and you know, I thought about going naked for the iPhones. Like, I thought I could do it. Like, it looks beautiful, but fear beat me.